at the time quite a notable result. A couple of changes for Oxford City this afternoon to the side that lost 2-1 at Boreham Wood last week, and that's Ollie Sanderson and Tafari Moore coming back into the starting 11. Aaron Williams-Bashau drops to the bench, Rennie Smith out of the squad, and two new signings for Ross Jenkins this afternoon, both of whom are on the bench. Jacob Roddy, a defender on loan from Charlton Athletic, and Levi Lumika, who's joined the club from League 2 French side Troy. Another chance for Ross Jenkins to dip his toes into the European market, Andy, and it never ceases to amaze you, does it, the contacts that Ross has got, and it'd be really interesting to see those two and how they perform in Oxford City colours.
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially Levi Lumeka, really attacking-minded player, probably was going to fit in one or two positions here. It'll be interesting to see if he does get on today. Maybe perhaps he could play in the wing-back role, or perhaps he could even play behind the striker. But another player with tons and tons of experience that can affect this Oxford City team as we get underway here at the Roar Charging Stadium. A very big game in the National League between Oxford City and Solihull Moors. Solihull Moors in their yellow shirts with navy blue trim, yellow shorts and yellow socks, shooting as we see it from right to left towards the 1882 bar stand. Oxford City in those familiar hoops, blue shorts and blue socks, going the other way towards the Cypher stand. And early on there is a free kick for Solihull on this near side, a foul made on Cade Craig, and the captain Jamie Osborne's gone over to take it already, and within the first minute perhaps Solihull could carve open a chance for themselves here.
They need to watch Mark Beck here, Andy, don't they? Mark Beck, a real mountain of a striker, more than 100 goals in his career, and he's in the centre there.
Osborne, right-footed in swing, goes eventually headed away by Sanderson and then hooked clear by Nia Kirby, and City can get the ball away, as Kieran was alluding to before, as Mafuta goes down and wins another free kick for Solihull. A couple of changes from Ross Jenkins, those two names on the bench today in Jacob Roddy signing on loan from Charlton Athletic, and Levi Lumeka, who signed after leaving Ligue 2, if we want to use the French term, and Troyes, as I would say, but apparently it's pronounced Trey. Anyway, free kick floated into Beck, flicked on, headed away again by Andre Burley, but Beck was adjudged to have just moved into an offside position there, and Oxford City will have the opportunity through Jack Bycroft to clear their lines.
And Andy, one of Oxford City's best performances of the early season was the game away to Solihull, who at that point were second in the table, I think, and it opened a few eyes, didn't it, that City actually could have won that game.
It was interesting because I think both teams probably came out of that one thinking they could have and probably should have won that, especially Oxford City. I thought shaded proceedings on that game, but it came in a real pivotal time where City had been struggling in the first three games and suddenly turned it around with a run of 7 games unbeaten. Seems so far away now, but it was a really interesting 3-3 game. Some fantastic goals in that, some sloppy goals in that to give away, and now they'll be fighting for all 3 points again. But if it's anything like that clash again at Solihull, we are in for a real treat here in Oxfordshire tonight. But at the moment, in the first 2.5 minutes of this game, it's the visitors, Andy Wing Solihull, who have started the brighter of the two and have started to creep forward and get into some dangerous positions, really. And they have a throw in here, which the captain Jamie Osborne's going to take. No one near him, so it looks like he's going to unleash a long throw in. He does, into the area. Beck wins the flick on again, goes around in the area, eventually cleared by Zach McEachran, and out of danger. Josh Parker will race onto the loose ball and collect it. He's got his back towards goal and will go all the way back to his goalkeeper. There are a few notable names for both clubs. Mitchell Roberts signed for Oxford City from Solihull Moors, spent time on loan from Birmingham City last season, but since being released at St Andrews, he's joined with Ross Jenkins' men. And another notable player that's played for both is Oxford City's Reece Fleet. In his early careers, he was also a youth prodigy at Birmingham City and spent time both on loan at Oxford City and Solihull Moors, and then actually played permanently for both teams too. He signed for Moors permanently before moving to Oxford City, and ever since he's stayed at City and become such a key part of this team that has won promotion to the National League for the first time in City's history. The Hoops just starting to knock the ball around now and get their passing play and rhythm going. They've been penned in by Solihull, but they've survived a early, I won't say quite an early storm, but they've defended well, and when Solihull have been floating crosses into the box, Mark Beck's won both headers. He's going to be one to watch today, like Kieran said. A really good goal scorer, formerly of Darlington as well, who scored loads of goals in the National League North. But here come Solihull again, this time through Benton, looking for an option. Drops to Josh Kelly on the edge of the area. He'll move it on to the right with Benton again. Hasn't got space to move forward, so he'll go back. Whips in across with his left foot, but it's cleared away by Canis Carroll and picked on by Ollie Sanderson. Now Josh Parker runs away with it, and City will maintain possession of the ball. It's been a lively start to this one, Kieran.
Yeah, it has actually. It's been played at a decent pace so far, and it's a pretty obviously a pretty good surface to play passing football on. It's a pretty nice afternoon, let's be honest, and you wouldn't really get much more pleasant conditions for mid-December than this. And I'm also quite impressed, Andy, actually, with the crowd. Normally the pre-Christmas game is a little bit smaller, but the attendance looks pretty decent today.
It is. There's been a lot on at the Royal Charging Stadium today. They build it as a big festive match day. They've had 2 games on today. The women played on the pitch just before this game and won 8-0. So fingers crossed Oxford City men can follow in the footsteps of the women. Let's see how that one pans out. But it is a really good sight to see a lot of fans in attendance here just before Christmas. Bycroft, long ball forward, looking for Josh Parker. But that's really good defending from Kyle Morrison, who just allows Josh Parker to back into him and flick a header back into the hands of the Moors goalkeeper, Nick Hayes. Just going through the Solihull Moors team, there are some really good names in here from players. Especially, I'm looking at one, in fact, number 11, Matty Warburton. He will actually have really bad memories of this ground, Matty Warburton. He was part of the Northampton Town team that played here in COVID in the FA Cup first round and was shocked as Oxford City put in a fantastic performance to beat them. But I'm just going to stop because Andre Burley has taken down Josh Kelly, and it's the first yellow card of the game, and it's gone to Andre Burley. He definitely fouled Kelly. A booking, well, that perhaps is questionable. I don't think there can be any complaints about the foul, though, Kieran. What were your views on that?
Yeah, it was a foul, certainly, but the referee, Aaron Bannister's set his stall out fairly early there, 7 minutes into the game with the first yellow card. I don't think there was a huge amount in it. I mean, it was certainly a foul, and it's a free kick now, and there'll be another target, Mark Beck's head again here.
Cross into the area, headed towards goal again. Carroll flicks it away. City defending well when the crosses have been floated into the box so far, and eventually they'll come away with it again. Now Tafari Moore can run onto the ball, and he's got space to run into ahead of him on the right wing here. Brings the ball out wide, plays the ball in front of McEachran, who's marauded in front of him. McEachran slams the ball into the chest of Tafari Moore, and it comes out and hits, well, it definitely hits the yellow shirt because it's gone out for an Oxford City throw-in. First chance we've really seen for Tafari Moore to launch a run down the right-hand side. Here's Fleet, brings the ball across the halfway line, but Moore loses it, and there's a 50-50 challenge in there. Fleet's gone down, he's in some pain. I heard the scream from the press box, but Solihull Moors will carry on. Here's Warburton, plays the ball inside for Osborne. They're playing the ball around well here as well, the Moors midfield. Over on this right-hand side now. They'll keep it moving with James Clark. Coyle stabs and gets a leg at it, and it seems to have put his Solihull opponent off balance, and City win a throw in. City showing signs of growing into this game. That Tafari Moore run down the right wing looked like it could bear fruit, but just broke down through McEachran's pass. Burley on a booking already, moving it back to Canis Carroll. City moving the ball around here. Looks like it's a rather unfamiliar back four. They usually play a back 3 or 5, however you want to see it, Oxford City, but it looks as though that Mitchell Roberts and Canis Carroll will be the centre halves today. Andre Burley is a makeshift right back, and as soon as I mention his name, he doesn't control what looked like a rather easy ball to control. It floats over his leg and goes out for a rather sloppy Solihull Moors throw. And over on the other side, and the left back, it looks as though Lewis Coyle will be taking his place up there. But in defence, it looks as though it does revert to a 5 as Tafari Moore and Lewis Coyle both drop back, and so does Andre Burley. So it looks like quite a fluid formation from Ross Jenkins' side today. Fleet goes down again. This time the referee says that's a foul, and it's Beck adjudged to have made it. But Fleet's going to take no chances with that one and get play going straight away. 10 minutes gone here almost. Oxford City 0, Solihull 0. Good start to this game. No clear-cut chances of yet. Solihull Moors asked a couple of questions of the Oxford City defence. They've penned them in quite well and floated a couple of crosses in, which have been dealt with well by the Oxford City defence. But City are starting to grow into this one and come forward and try and create chances of themselves. They're now playing the ball round the back. Canis Carroll moved the ball out of his feet. Looked as though he wanted to play a long ball forward. Decided against it. Here's Fleet. Passes the ball to Nia Kirby across the halfway line. Kirby gives it him back, and City will continue to inch up the field here, and they're not getting bored with it. Carroll now. Ball forward to Coyle. Back towards goal. Heavy touch from Coyle, and it bounces straight into the legs of Jamie Osborne. Mafuta now. Over to the left with Cade Craig. Here's Osborne. Floated over to the right wing. And that's a straight offside from James Clark, who didn't quite check his line. City starting to play some good stuff in this game, but when they get the ball into the Solihull Moors half, there's yellow shirts just set in front of them, and it is like finding a needle in a haystack to thread that ball through the banks of 4 that Andy Wing's men have sat back.
You alluded to the Oxford City ladies winning 8-0 earlier on. Oxford City will hope that this is Solihull Moors' first visit to the Royal Charles Stadium since the FA Cup in 2019, when Solihull ran out 5-1 winners in that one. City were obviously the league below, but clearly on that day, albeit a fair while ago now, it was a pretty comfortable victory for the Midlanders.
It was indeed, but that's just a sign of how far the Oxford City and Solihull Moors actually have come. Solihull Moors are very much like Oxford City back in the day, National League North team. They had lots of good players back in the day. Omar Bogle, formerly Premier League, was a striker for them, alongside the likes of Marcus Bignot and players like that helped propel them to the National League. And under the chairmanship or ownership, if you like, of the former Oxford United man. I'll break because there's a chance here for Oxford City. Here's Ollie Sanderson, just has a chance to lay off Josh Parker on the edge of the box, but it was a sloppy ball from the Fulham low knee, and eventually a gift of an opportunity to come forward and attack has been squandered by Oxford City. Big opportunity there, not taken advantage of. Now here comes Clark for Solihull. They're looking for an instant impact from that blip in concentration. Warburton back towards goal, lays it back to Clark, clipped over. Good play this. Here's Warburton on the edge of the area, but Fleet's got back to try and defend. Clark, shot on the edge of the box, straight into Canis Carroll, who goes down holding his head, and now the play is going to have to take a brief break because Canis Carroll's going to have to require treatment for a head injury.
Yeah, that would have hurt. Canis Carroll doesn't go down too easily. That was slammed at Canis Carroll. He knew nothing about that, and that's hit him square in the face, I think. Hopefully he will be okay, but those sort of balls into the face from point-blank range, they really sting, and let's hope that it's just a bit of a shock sort of injury, and he's up and about pretty shortly. You're listening to BBC Radio Oxford Sport on BBC Sounds and on the BBC Sport website, and at Oxford City versus Solihull Moors. Still goalless here. Oxford United are away at Sixfields this afternoon, and they are currently level 0-0 with Northampton Town. That game can be found on the BBC Radio Oxford on the radio on 95.2, on digital, and on Freeview Channel 722. Lots of football coming up over the festive season. We have lots of non-league games and commentaries for you. Oxford City's game at Dorking Wanderers on Boxing Day. Banbury United with their big local derby against Brackley Town also on Boxing Day with a 1 o'clock kickoff, and then the reverse fixtures on New Year's Day. So really busy festive season, as it always is at all levels. And I absolutely love the festive football, Andy. It gets you out of the house after a day of excesses, doesn't it?
It's not just that, there's some really big games as well. I mean, after this for Oxford City is those festive double headers as well. The same opponent on Boxing Day as you play on New Year's Day. City away on Boxing Day to Dorking Wanderers, and then back at home on New Year's Day against the same opponent. There'll be 2 massive games as well, and that links in nicely to this game, doesn't it, Kieran? Because if Oxford City can get something against Solihull and then can do the same in those 2 games against Dorking, the shift of the mood around the place completely changes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about building momentum, isn't it? And if they can, as you say, get something out of this. I'll be quite interested to hear Mark White's thoughts if Oxford City beat them on Boxing Day. Always a good interview. Solihull Moors, Andy Wing was speaking to me before the game. They've got some hellishly tough fixtures. They've got Chesterfield home and away over the Christmas period, and Chesterfield obviously running away with the league at the moment, and so Andy Wing will be equally keen to get as much as he can out of this game.
Absolutely. There's going to be 2 tough games, and when you think about the form that Solihull Moors have got, 1 win in the last 4, I think it is. If they don't win today, then they have those 2 games against Chesterfield, and you probably bet on paper that it's going to be a tough nut to crack to get anything out of that Chesterfield team. And you could be staring down the barrel, so to speak, in terms of form especially. It might not tell the whole story, but this National League season, as it approaches the halfway point, well, it already has really approached the halfway point. We're now into the second half of the season, which sounds mad, really, when you think about it. It only seems like 2 seconds ago we were kicking off all of those months ago in Aldershot, and City were given a very quick welcome to the National League there. But here at the moment it's Oxford City 0, Solihull 0, 15 minutes into this game. Alex Whitmore taking the ball out of his feet and playing into Mafuta. Whitmore, a former Burnley Academy graduate, played for AFC Fylde, I'll stop, because here's a floated cross into the box by Solihull Moors, looking for Beck, wins the header again, but he was off balance and headed over the crossbar.
We've said, haven't we? Well, I said Mark Beck is without a doubt Solihull's big target man. He makes a real nuisance of himself, doesn't he? He must be 6'6", 6'7" taller, prolific goal scorer, and he really will be the danger man that City will need to keep quiet.
Yeah, we sometimes say to ourselves, like, how often Canis Carroll wins the headers from the back, but he's having a tough time of it today, and he will do, because Beck will probably win at 99% of those headers, because he is a real man mountain of a striker, perfect for the way that Solihull want to play when they want to bounce it off him or float across into the box. Beck again turns around, but Mitchell Roberts gets in ahead of him and wins the header before it can land to Beck's feet, and City can play the ball out here. A bit of a loose ball from Carroll, but Burley pounces upon it, and they'll maintain possession. Fleet gets the ball out of his feet, and that's a fantastic driven pass over to the left side with Tafari Moore. Just about keeps it alive. McEachran over to Kirby. City starting to pick up a little bit more confidence coming forward, it looks like. McEachran turns out of a really tight space, finds Parker, tried to shoot, but that shot was straight into the point blank range of Jamie Osborne's foot. City really passing the ball well here. Carroll over to the left, good defending by Clark to nick the ball off Tafari Moore's feet and come forward with it. Perhaps City starting to play with a little bit more freedom, starting to express themselves a little bit more. Here's Fleet, ball through the back line. That time that's not finding the hoop shirt, and it rolls out for a goal kick. Impressive passing there for Oxford City, still trying to find that key pass to find a bit of space in the final third. They've not quite managed to do that yet, but there's signs that they're getting closer.
Yeah, and I think it's important that they have started better than they have perhaps in the last couple of weeks, because within 3 or 4 minutes last week they were already chasing the game, and then 2-0 down on the half hour. And there's another attack here for Solihull.
There is. Here's Osborne. Plays the ball over to Josh Kelly on the left. He'll cut in with it slightly. He's tracked all the way by Lewis Coyle, who gets a foot on it, but it bounces back into Kelly. Works his way into the box. He's dragged down to the floor by Burley. No free kick given there. Very muted appeals for a penalty. But Parker can't control that with his chest. Bounce into Osborne again. Here's Craig on the left-hand side, again marshalled well by Parker, and the striker has defended really well there. Clears his lines. Whitmore heads it straight into the feet of Mafuta. Warburton wants the ball, gets the ball out of his feet, looking to have a shot from 25 yards, decides against it, claps his hands in frustration. Matty Warburton didn't think he had as much time as he did there. Beck tries to set Warburton again, ball behind him, but he rescues possession and plays it out to the right-hand side. Patient play now from Moores. Down to Clark on the right, or attempted to find Clark on the right, because as soon as I say it was patient play, the ball's been given away quite sloppily there. Now the ball's starting to bounce between the two teams, and both teams are struggling to get the ball down and keep a real spell of possession, it seems. Mafuta into Osborne, coming forward on the edge of the area, unleashes a shot towards goal, but that is flying high and wide over Jack Bycroft's crossbar and goes out for an Oxford City goal kick. So a shot there from Jamie Osborne, not troubling the City goalkeeper, but a chance nonetheless for the Moors, who, again, just like City, are asking questions of the Oxford City defence, but as they move the ball around, City are moving with them. They're defending well, they're sitting deep, and they're not giving their visitors an inch. Likewise, Solihull Moors are doing the same. A very open game here, but it's quite tight at the same time, so make of that what you will. Alex Whitmore, we were just talking about before, the Solihull Moors centre half. Some people may remember him very recently. I'll just say he was a former Burnley Academy graduate, won the National League North last year with AFC Fylde, and he's another Solihull Moors player that will have grim memories of coming to the Raw Charging Stadium. He was in that Fylde team that were well beaten earlier this season, 3-0, and since has made the move from the Fylde coast over to the Midlands to join Birmingham. In fact, it's Stephen Ward who's the director of football at Solihull Moors, the former Burnley fullback and Wolves fullback, Premier League player, played with Alex Whitmore briefly at Burnley, so perhaps he liked what he saw and brought him to the club with him. As well, Stephen Ward, formerly assistant manager of Brackley just a few months ago.
It's taken you 21 minutes to mention Burnley today, Andy. That must be a record. Well done.
I don't think it is, because I think I did it after 1 minute last week or something like that. I'll get better at that. Perhaps when we kick off next week, it will be something about Burnley.
You've got to get them in every week.
That's the weekly Burnley shout anyway. Stephen Ward, director of football here at Solihull Moors. But yeah, like I was saying, formerly of Brackley as well, is starting to carve out a reputation for himself off the field now. But here's Fleet. Ball clipped forward, looking for Parker. Heads it backwards, but there's no hoop shirt to run onto the ball there. So Mafuta will have a free chance to find Osborne and bring the ball out of defence for Solihull. Here is Whitmore with the ball. Turns around to find Mafuta, who scored a cracking goal in that first game, Gus Mafuta. I don't know if you remember it, Kieran. Really placed the ball past Chris Haig into the net with real force to put Solihull back on level terms. I think it was back in the Midlands.
I do remember it was unstoppable and it was a rocket, and that was when City were sort of pretty much in the ascendancy, and it kind of rocked City back for a little while, obviously, and then Solihull went in front I think pretty early on after that, maybe early in the second half. While on the subject of Brackley a moment ago, they trail Scarborough Athletic in the National League North by a goal to nil. Brackley nil, Scarborough Athletic 1. Yeah,
that game kicking off a little bit earlier, so into the second half of that one, I presume. Anyway, here back at this game, it's a rather tight affair, but both teams asking questions of each other. Here's Matty Warburton, have a little bit of space to come forward, finds Craig on the left. Craig, right-footed in-swinger into the box. Mitchell Roberts wins the header, and it's eventually scrambled away, but only as far as Mafuta. Shot towards goal, and that one was closer. This time the shot by John Benton, a lot closer than Jamie Osborne's earlier effort. That one asked questions of Jack Bycroft, who wasn't quite sure that was going over the crossbar or not. He did jump for it, left it in the end, and it was smart to do so because it did eventually go over. But as soon as that left his foot, there was that question, was it going to just float under the crossbar?
Yeah, it just wasn't dipping, was it? Slightly, I think, as you say, I think it had Jack Bycroft keeping him honest for a little bit there. He wasn't totally sure that was going over, but it just didn't dip, and it's gone harmlessly over the bar.
And Jack Bycroft, in attempting to try and save that, I suppose you could say, has got a little bit of an injury here. Looks as though to his wrist, and as the physios come on to treat him, I think Canis Carroll, who suffered a injury just a few moments previously, has also gone over to get a little bit more treatment. So a little bit of something to keep your eye on there. Bycroft just taking a bit of water on, as is Canis Carroll, and physio Oxford City is getting his money's worth to give players treatment at the same time. But that's just given Ross Jenkins and Andy Wing a chance to talk to their players as they wander over to the bench and then wander back over to get this game going back again. But I'm going to reiterate what I've said about a million times already in this game. It is a really open game attacking wise. They're playing the ball well, both teams passing the ball well, and they're being brave with their passes. But at the same time, it's a very tight game. It's almost like a game of chess. Who's going to crack first? Who's going to make that move that makes the difference to get that first goal? As Ross Jenkins actually alluded to in his press conference this week, is an outstanding statistic that whoever gets the first goal in National League games usually goes on to win.
Fingers crossed then that Oxford City do that today, because if they can get something out of this game, then they'll go into the Christmas games against Dorking Wanderers very, very happy, as Solihull just keep a little bit of possession themselves. It's back with Whitmore, another big player, Solihull Moor player, Josh Kelly on the run there, with Andre Burley just shepherding him into position. He's going to have Craig as an option to his left, but he's forced back a little bit by Burley, so he opts to go back to Osborne, back into Kelly. Kelly takes a touch, but Roos Fleet stands his ground and takes the ball off of Kelly and lays the ball through to Zach McEachran. We saw McEachran last week with a blistering run through the middle, and what we both thought was a save from the goalkeeper, and I think McEachran did as well, but it was given as a goal kick. But McEachran, it's really good to see him back to his best after a bit of a jaded start to the season following that virus in the summer. Canis Carroll has the ball. He's looking for options in front of him, but he hasn't got any, so he's gone to Burley to the right, who plays a little 1-2 with Carroll. Carroll with Mark Beck just closing him down, opts to go back to Bycroft, who seems to have recovered from whatever that little knock was. Out to the left-hand side to Mitchell Roberts. Roberts and Carroll just playing a little bit of keep ball. Fleet in the centre of the field and clips the ball through to Sanderson, and City just playing this possession football at the moment. Reece Fleet trying a little triangle. That's come off of Osborne for a throw into City right in front of us on the halfway line. And Canis Carroll has, again, another player that looks like he's shaken off what would have been a bit of a stinger, Andy. A ball in the face at any time of the year, but in the middle of winter, they hurt.
Stinger is the word. He's probably going to be a bit sore after that.
I say middle of winter, but as I said earlier, it's a really quite a pleasant late December afternoon. You can't really get much nicer conditions at this time of the year. A calm day, a little bit of a breeze, not too windy, fairly clear skies, and pretty mild as well. And it's a pleasant afternoon for watching football. And when we had the injury break a moment ago, because it's fairly mild, we had what we often see in pre-season. We had a bit of an impromptu drinks break, both sets of players just taking a bit of fluid on board. Yeah,
it's very un-Christmas like, really. It's usually freezing, you've got your hats and gloves on and stuff like that, but it's nothing of the sort. You could probably, it's like a September's afternoon, really, isn't it? Lovely day for football.
It's all right. Certainly better than a couple of weeks ago against Maidenhead, which was the game that I missed, where I gather it was absolutely perishingly cold.
In both senses for Oxford City, because it was absolutely freezing temperature-wise, and the performance didn't do too much to warm the cockles. A 4-1 defeat on that day. Real stinging blow, and City haven't really recovered from that result, but they've started to show signs. That Boreham Wood defeat, although it ended in defeat, was a lot more promising from Ross Jenkins' men. They got back to the way they were playing. In fact, the manager, Ross Jenkins, said that he did see that, and also said that he saw a lot of that former passing play, the rhythm, the movement off the ball start to click again and get back into the rhythm as City were doing when they went 7 games unbeaten early in the season.
In National League North, goal for Banbury United. Their away record just continues to amaze, really. They can't win at home, but they lead away to Warrington. Craig Hewitt with the opening goal there, and it's quite an incredible away record that Banbury United have got. They've won just twice at home all season, but they topped the table, Andy, in their away record. If they could just turn their home form around, they'd have been in a reasonable place. Brackley still trail by a goal to nil. Throw into Solihull Moors here at the Royal Charging Stadium. You're listening to BBC Radio Oxford on BBC Sounds, the BBC Sport website, and at Oxford United still 0-0 away to Northampton at Sixfields. That's on 95.2 FM, Freeview Channel 722, and on digital, as a long throw is going to come in from Osborne here, looking for that man Beck, who gets the flick on, and Andre Burley needed to be on his toes there, because lurking at the back post there was Josh Kelly, and now there's a chance for City to break. Is a no, because it's going to roll all the way through to Kyle Morrison, who tied us up and sends back to his goalkeeper Nick Hayes. But once again, Andy, there we saw the dangerous Mark Beck flicking that ball on, and Kelly was lurking there at the back post. Andre Burley had to be on his toes.
Yeah, he's winning every header. City need to get to grips with him if they are to keep themselves afloat in this game. But every time it has been won the flick on, the second ball has been won by a City defender, and they've done really well to keep defending their box when a floated cross has come in.
Beck's just picked up a bit of a knock on the back of the head there as Andre Burley went a little bit through the back of him, to be honest, but the referee said it was no foul. It's going to be a bounce ball, drop ball. Solihull can't believe that it's not a free kick. Osborne remonstrating a bit with the referee. I think maybe he said you were a bit fortunate there, because it did look to me as though Burley went over the top of Mark Beck, but I guess Mark Beck, being the size he is, he's probably similar to Josh Parker. He probably doesn't always get the fouls that he perhaps deserves, because Parker very similarly, he gets pulled back and climbed all over, and referees tend to let it go. Solihull back in possession at the moment in the middle of their own half of the field, and just a little ball across the field to Alex Whitmore, who's looking for an option, but he's just going to roll the ball back into the centre of defence. Whitmore plays a little 1-2, and now he's going to try and clear this up over the halfway line. No, he's not. He's going to go back again to Kyle Morrison.
Just a little observation, Andre Burley. He is on a yellow card, and to get close to Beck and Craig and Warburton a little bit deeper, you're going to have to get stuck in, and that might be a decision that Ross Jenkins has to make later on in the game if he is to carry on in this way. I don't think he's done anything really to even deserve one yellow card.
No.
So he's fine at the moment. He just has to be careful though.
He does, and one thing we can say about Oxford City this year, which has been pretty good, is their disciplinary record's not been too bad. We had a flurry of yellow cards at Ebbsfleet, didn't we, when the referee seemed to have slightly lost the plot, but no red cards yet for Oxford City this season as far as I'm aware, and we don't want to see one today. And there are options on the bench, aren't there, for Ross Jenkins, right-sided players that can come on if he feels that Andre Burley is just getting a bit close to the mark.
Yeah, there's Jacob Roddy, who's the standout one who's just signed out on from Charlton, but the others are very attacking. Aaron Williams-Bichelle, who could also play in that role and can perhaps be a good option depending on the game. Potter as well. Lameka, a very interesting option if he is to play today.
Free kick into the head of Mark Beck, and he gets his head to the ball, and it's going to go wide of the post. I think Jack Bycroft rather had that covered, but more warning signs there with Mark Beck, and this time it's dropped the right side of the post as far as Oxford City are concerned, the wrong side of the post as far as Solihull are concerned, who are still fifth in the table, still in and around that playoff places, and a good side, and Andy Wing's made some good signings. You've alluded to some of the signings that Andy Wing has made, Andy, and they just have that little further step to go to try and get themselves, a regular sort of playoff contender, and possibly get themselves up towards the upper echelons again, and into towards the Football League, because that is certainly their ultimate goal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you think we always talk about Oxford City and how they have to deal with it being part-time and the gulfing financial constraints, but even for Solihull, taking that next step, I mean, looks like it's Chesterfield's division to lose, as I'll just pause. There's a chance here.
There is a chance, and it's on the edge of the penalty area, and it's a shot from Josh Kelly. It's curling the right side of the post for Oxford City's perspective, but another little warning shot there given away in midfield. The ball broke kindly to Josh Kelly, and Kelly had a first shot at goal, cracked from distance from the edge of the penalty area. It was always curling away though from Jack Bycroft, and again he was fairly comfortable and confident that was going to not trouble him, and it's a goal kick to Oxford City.
Yeah, not a bad shot as well. Got some curl he got a curl behind it, really. Tried to bend it into that far post, however, went wide of Bycroft's mark. Bycroft actually did well to cover the angle as well. Did fling himself across goal, but as I was just saying before then, like, Solihull Moors have to, Chesterfield's, division to lose, really. They should really be winning the league as well. Then you've got the likes of Bromley, who they've got to compete with, and you think that, even though they're not quite as big as Wrexham and Notts County, you've got your Southend, you've got all those clubs that are also vying for the position that Solihull want to be in, but they were beaten in the playoff final just a couple of seasons ago, so they are just that one little step away from making that next move, and I think they're an EFL club in waiting, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think you're right. I had a chat to Andy Wing beforehand. They haven't got the world's biggest budget. They're certainly not one of the bigger budgets in the league. He's pretty honest, Andy, and he said it's a bit of a mid-table budget. But what he's got a team that's playing well together, a team that understand each other, that complement each other quite well. But now they've got some defending to do. That's a lovely little ball through from McEachran to Reece Fleet, and Nick Hayes closed down the angle. Beautiful reverse pass from McEachran to Fleet. Fleet had a first-time crack. Hayes closed down the angle and he's beat it behind for a corner. That's the first real shot in anger that Oxford City have had at the Solihull goal.
I think more than that, I think that's the best chance of the game so far. It was really well worked as well from Oxford City. Good save as well from Nick Hayes, I have to say, because I think Fleet did everything right there. Unlucky, and the chance from this corner to take advantage of it.
Corner it is, and it's going to be curling away towards the back post. Hayes comes and gets a hand to it and flicks it all the way out of play for a throw in to Oxford City on the opposite side in front of that little new mini stand that was built during the summer months when Oxford City gained promotion through the playoffs. There's not too many people sitting in that stand today. There's a massive stand, isn't there, at Solihull, which we mentioned earlier in the season, that in the middle of winter it's pouring with rain. You're going to get cold and very wet. As Nia Kirby picks up the ball in midfield, finds Andre Burley out on this right side. He's got Lewis Cole to his left, but he opts for a ball in to the penalty area, looking for Josh Parker. Parker, I think, puts his thumb up to Burley to say that was a decent thought, but just slightly overhit the pass and it's gone over Josh Parker's head. But good vision there from Burley, because that was potentially a decent cross there, and just a little bit lower and Parker was in. Yeah,
I agree with Josh Parker. I thought it was a really good idea from Andre Burley, crossing from deep, because that's where they could perhaps hurt Solihull, because when you get to the byline, Solihull defenders can come back and defend. That time it kind of caught them off guard, and if it was just a little bit lower, a little bit more, let's say, shallow, if that makes sense, not as high and as near to the keeper, perhaps Josh Parker could have just got something on the end of that.
0-0. It's a decent game though, I have to say, and you wouldn't know if you were a neutral. You wouldn't know that City have been struggling, because they're more than holding their own against the high-flying Solihull Moors, but they've got a little bit of defending to do here. Nia Kirby's going to have to go all the way back to his goalkeeper Bycroft. Kelly's going to close Bycroft down, but Bycroft calmly rolls the ball out to Mitchell Roberts on that left side. Now a first time all over the top for Tafari Moore to chase. Hayes comes racing from his goal and is going to flick off Josh Parker to Mitchell Roberts, and City just looking good in patches. And now McEachran's got a chance to run at goal, and good bit of defending there from Alex Whitmore again. And there's a crunching challenge there, which the referee seems to have allowed play to go on. And now there's a chance here on the left-hand side with Clark. Clark's got Lewis Coyle, who just gives him a little shove into the back, and throw-in given though. Whitmore into Mafuta. Mafuta finding Jamie Osborne, the skipper.
Good defending from Sanderson there.
Good defending. I have to say, though, I think the referee probably should have given a foul there in the first phase of play. It's now a free kick to Solihull, and there's going to be at least a talking to here. And
yeah, Ollie Sanderson and Reece Fleet are furious with Aaron Bannister, the referee, because they thought that there was a real crunching challenge on Zach McEachran, which I thought as well was a free kick. Didn't get any of the ball, and you could hear the scream from here. And then Mafuta goes down, who's a big lad, Gus Mafuta, with a relatively standard shoulder-to-shoulder challenge, and the referee gives a free kick to Solihull and a chance for them to attack here. So Reece Fleet and Ollie Sanderson really not happy with that, and I think they have every right not to be.
I think you're right. So free kick just outside the centre circle, taken by the skipper Osborne. He floats it in towards that man Mark Beck, who again wins the header. Beck then Whitmore tries to pick up the loose ball but doesn't do so, but City only clear it out to another Solihull player. Ball comes back into the penalty area, headed towards goal by James Clark, hook clear by Burley all the way through to Cade Craig. Craig's got loads of space and time, so he just takes a touch and then wow, I tell you what, Mitchell Roberts is a fortunate man there, because that was a foul to all as well. So the referee really is missing quite a bit, because that to me was a blatant foul on the edge of the penalty area against Mitchell Roberts.
Yeah, I agree there. I think he's hauled Beck down. That might be the only way to keep him under control in this game, to be honest. But that was a free kick if I've ever seen one for Solihull Moors, and now they've got every right to be really disappointed, because that was I think Oxford City have got away with one there. That would have been right on the edge of the area as well.
We do try, I mean, hopefully are very impartial, and if we see something, we call it, and that was a clear foul in my view, and City got away with that right on the edge of the penalty area.
We're just honest, Kieran.
We try
we just say it as it is. We're never wrong.
Well, we're very often wrong, to be fair, but we do try to call it as we see it, because we know that some people that maybe haven't made the trip down the M40 to Oxfordshire may be watching this today, and it's been a decent game of football, still goalless at the moment. McEachran goes down under a challenge again. The referee gives nothing, but this time probably right on top of it, and that is a free kick by McEachran on Jamie Osborne, and it's going to be a free kick. And the referee, I think that some of the players are getting a little bit frustrated, because actually that time I think the Solihull are frustrated, because although it was a foul, the ball went through to a Solihull player, and they were a bit disappointed that he didn't actually play on there.
Yeah, I think the game's getting a little bit gritty now, a little bit stop-start, and I don't think either team, it really suits them, because both teams want to get it down. I mean, Solihull are quite direct, but not long ball. They get the ball forward quickly, and they're being stifled a little bit by that.
Jay Harris has levelled for Warrington. Warrington won, Banbury United won, and now there's another pretty bad one. I think
Andre Burley's has he been knocked out here? No, he's moving his legs, thankfully. He wasn't moving for a second there, Andre Burley, and it looked really bad. Referees. He took a real thud. Bycroft came to try and claim the ball, and he's gone right over Burley. He took a thud to the ground. I think he's good. It's just a little bit shocked, I think, but he's good to continue there, and that is a disaster averted, because that looked really serious at first, but thankfully Andre Burley's okay. Yeah,
again another one that would have stung, and he's just rubbing his head. Referee was pretty happy that Burley was okay, but yeah, like you say, for a second there, just for a second or two, it looked perhaps more serious than it was. Anyway, back underway. Burley on the ball now. He needs to get a move on. Finds Sanderson. Good challenge there by Alex Whitmore, and it's gone off of Sanderson according to the assistant referee, and it's going to be a throw into Solihull right on the halfway line.
Don't know whether that the referee's view was obstructed there, but I thought that was an Oxford City throw in.
One of those, isn't it? You sometimes sort of guess, and I think sometimes you do, and maybe give it to the defending side, which he didn't on that occasion. He gave it to Solihull, who are now in the ascendancy with Jamie Osborne on the edge of the penalty area, out to the left-hand side to Cade Craig. Craig back into Osborne. Osborne's looking for that option to jink the ball in towards Beck again, but this time City will clear their lines, and they've defended, dare I say, okay so far today. Oxford City, they haven't been rocked by early goals, which we've seen so often in recent weeks, always chasing the game. And we said last week, didn't we, if City can keep themselves in games, they are capable of scoring goals. It's when they're 2 or 3 down and it's sort of game over, that's when the problems arise. But now they have got some defending to. Burley loses his footing, and it means that Josh Kelly lays the ball back to Cade Craig on the edge of the penalty area. City have some defending to do. Kelly again, still in the box. Andre Burley just shepherding him, so he goes back to Jamie Osborne. Curling effort from Osborne. It's hit the bar in the corner of the apex, actually. The goalkeeper, Jack Bycroft, was completely beaten by that, but it's ricocheted off the right angle of bar and post, and City clear their lines.
We were right behind that shot, but we'll come back to it, because here comes Tafari Moore down the left.
Absolutely, end-to-end stuff. Tafari Moore now with a chance to set up a City attack. Zach McEachran goes down under a challenge, and that's going to be a free kick, and I think that's going to be the first yellow card potentially for a Solihull player. Indeed it is. Just see who has picked up that yellow card.
I think that's a little bit harsh. I think that perhaps by the letter of the law that is a yellow card, but with the way that referee's been refereeing this game, perhaps it's a yellow card as well.
Well, if Andre Burders was a yellow card, that probably was, to be fair.
But then you're probably giving out a load of yellow cards throughout the game.
Well,
but
it's
that
Christmas.
Yeah, very good. But that was a fantastic shot from Jamie Osborne. Wow, we were right behind that, and I thought that was just about to nestle in the net. Very lucky that came off the bar.
Absolutely. Ball into the penalty area. That's going to drift harmlessly out of play from that free kick. That's disappointing from Nia Kirby. He's overhit that and it's drifted harmlessly wide. But yeah, hit the apex, didn't it, of the bar and the post. And Jack Bycroft, for all his height and his reach, he was nowhere near that. That would have been nestling in the corner. Jack Bycroft wasn't anywhere near that one.
Yeah, it was a really, really good shot. The technique you have to even get that anywhere near as well, it has to be exemplary. And Jamie Osborne has been a real leading midfielder in the National League for years, all for Solihull as well. That was a fantastic effort. He's so unlucky there. City, the opposite, very lucky, but you need that luck to swing in your favour.
You absolutely do. We'll take you to Sixfields at the end of this half. Northampton 0, Oxford United 0, still the scoreline there. Des Buckingham picked up his first league win of the season last week. They're looking for their first away league win today, away to Northampton Town. Banbury United, as I say, they are level 1-1 at Warrington. Brackley Town, with the early kick-off in the other National League North game, they still trail Scarborough Athletic by a goal to nil. We'll be bringing you Banbury United versus Brackley Town on Boxing Day, live from the Banbury Plant Hire Community Stadium, and then later on in the afternoon we'll be bringing you Dorking Wanderers against Oxford City from Meadowbank. But now City have got a chance to attack right at the death. McEachran, a surging run forward. Oh, he takes, I think, the wrong option. He hits the ball straight at the back of Kyle Morrison. He had an opportunity there to lay the ball to the left-hand side. It hit the back of Morrison, and then it came through to Reece Fleet and bounced harmlessly away. And now it's a chance for 4 minutes of time added on. That's not altogether surprising. We've had a fair few stoppages in this first half.
Oh, that was agonising. So well worked from McEachran, and he just found the angle. Brilliant block by Morrison, but when the ball bounced back off his leg and into the path of Reece Fleet, he's just completely mistimed. I think his body movement really, he tried to alter it right at the last minute and miskicked it. He could have had a good chance there as well. City are creating the better chances. They've really grown into this one, and they really have been, on the whole, I think, worthy of at least perhaps having a few more shots on at goal, and if not even taking the lead, because they've created the better chances in this game and defended really well.
Yes, they have, and it's been a decent first half of football here at the Royal Charging Stadium, and the pretty reasonably sized crowd have been, I'd say, pretty royally entertained in this first half. You very often get sort of quite dull 0-0s, but this has been far from it. As the ball goes over the top, Lewis Coyle is forced into making a challenge in the penalty area, and somehow he's managed to flick it off of Cade Craig, and he's managed to win a goal kick there. I'm
laughing, Kieran, because the Solihull Moors players are incensed with the referee this time for themselves. They swore that went out for a corner kick. It seems as though Aaron Bannister, the referee, can't get any luck from either team. He's making all these decisions which are, well, at least they're just one decision for one that one teams aren't happy with, and then the other, perhaps a little bit fortunate, which the other team isn't happy with. So
sometimes you say one team or the other would be keen to see or to hear the half-time whistle. I get the impression that maybe the officials might want a half-time whistle at the moment, because there's certainly been a few unusual decisions in this first half, and as you know, we're not going to slate referees because it's a very, very tough job, and he hasn't got any big decisions wrong, let's face it. He hasn't given anything that's been sort of game-changing yet. It's just little niggly things that maybe he could just take a second just to have a think. But anyway, it's a corner to Oxford City, 2 minutes to go in the stoppage time at the end of this first half. Nia Kirby raises his right arm in the air. He's going to curl it in towards Sanderson. Being appealed for a penalty there from behind the goal, as
I thought that was
Canis
a penalty.
Carroll goes down under a challenge. Referee said nothing doing, and a massive appeal from the supporters behind the goal away to our right.
Well, Carroll's just stuck his leg in front of the ball there, and I think the Solihull man's kicked him. Really big appeals from behind the stand and by the fans, but on the pitch I think the players were too busy with trying to get the rebound to appeal. Interesting, we need to see that one back.
Yeah,
but my first kind of view of that, I thought perhaps, well, it's that old adage, I've seen them given.
I was just saying, wasn't I, we haven't seen any game-changing decisions yet. It would be interesting to see that back. We'll have a look on the highlights reel at some stage, but it's a big decision there from the referee, Aaron Bannister. He said no, it's not a penalty, so at the moment we'll say fair dues. He's closer than you and I are, Andy, and he's obviously seen something that we haven't. But we're into the last 30 seconds of the first half.
Great defending from
headed
Clark.
Back from, really good from Clark back to his goalkeeper. And as I was saying, Andy, I alluded to it, very often you see 0-0 draws that are pretty boring. This has been far from boring. This has been end-to-end, really entertaining, some good chances for either side. It's been a decent game. Yeah,
it's got better as the half's gone on as well. Both teams starting to navigate their way through it. Beck again doing well here. City just need to survive these last few seconds.
They do, and Lewis Coyle opts for the big up and under, which you sometimes see in rugby, just to clear the ball by hook or by crook as far as he can. In fact, it's gone all the way through to the Solihull goalkeeper, and that is the half-time whistle. And bang on the 4 minutes, the referee Aaron Bannister blows the whistle for half-time. It's been a decent first half. Oxford City 0, Solihull Moors 0. We'll hand you back now to Jerome Sale and the team at Sixfield.
But I think kicking towards the Oxford fans second half should generate a little bit more atmosphere. You're right about, I think they'll give him 10 minutes, Stan Mills, and see how he gets on. It's been a little bit disappointing. He'll be disappointed with his contribution so far. But you've got Tyler to come on and do a bit.
And at what point, if at all, does Des Buckingham start to think about managing the minutes with Tuesday in mind? Boxing Day, as we call it in this country.
Yeah, I've got no idea what. Talk Day is not yet. So I think Boxing Day, will take care of itself after this game, after the final whistle. And you don't start managing it just yet at all, because if you drag somebody off and manage it, and then somebody else gets injured, for me, it gets managed at the final whistle.
Let's bring you full-time news from just down the A43. Brackley against Scarborough, final Christmas game, or final game before Christmas for Brackley. How's it gone, Tim Carroll?
Well, it's not gone well for Brackley, I'm afraid. It's becoming the story of the season. Brackley certainly enjoyed the better of the first half, weren't able to take their chances, and right just before half-time, Scarborough took the lead with their only chance. In fact, it was their only chance of the game, but that is the one chance, the one moment that has won the 3 points for the visitors. Brackley created very little in the second half, huffed and puffed, but ultimately another frustrating afternoon here with a crowd of 740 coming out looking for some Christmas fare for their team. And, well, I'm afraid Gavin Cowan's side just haven't been able to deliver this afternoon. It sees Scarborough leapfrog Brackley in the league. Brackley now go into the two local derby games against Banbury United on Boxing Day and back here at St James Park on New Year's Day with some catching up to do. It's finished here at St James Park with the early kick-off. The Brackley Town 0, Scarborough Athletic 1.
Thank you, Tim. Both those Brackley-Banbury games live on BBC Radio Oxford. 1 o'clock kickoffs, Boxing Day at Banbury, at Brackley on New Year's Day, also 1 o'clock kickoff. You'll be able to hear both those all-ticket games live with us on BBC Radio Oxford before our Oxford United coverage on the radio and our Oxford City coverage on the BBC Sport website and app and on BBC Sounds as well. We're going to continue with both City and United in the second half. Both looked at 0-0. What will the second half bring? Find out on BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website and app for City, and on BBC Radio Oxford 95.2 FM digital radio, and on Freeview channel 722. Next.
Hi, I'm Kylie Minogue.
Join Kylie Daily.
It's time to say thank you to the brave, the courageous, the unsung heroes. Incredible people have all been honoured at the BBC Make a Difference Awards. I'll be sharing their amazing stories with you. Find out what makes them so special.
Make a Difference award winners, meet Kylie Minogue.
Boxing Day morning from 9
on BBC Radio Oxford.
Welcome back to the Royal Charging Stadium. Oxford City 0, Solihull Moors 0. The half-time score here on a pretty pleasant, mild afternoon. The teams are slowly emerging from the tunnel for the second half. Solihull have emerged first. I'm just looking around to see if there have been any half-time substitutions. I don't believe that there have been, certainly not from a Solihull perspective. Oxford City players haven't yet emerged from the tunnel. They're just taking a few more seconds just to keep us on our toes and keep us waiting. But Andy, a really entertaining first half of football, and a supporter came past earlier whilst you were off doing your half-time stuff and said that you wouldn't necessarily know that City are in the bottom four the way they played today.
No, not really, because they've really brought the game to Solihull. It took a while for them to get going, really, attacking-wise, but defensively they've been sure and solid throughout, and they need to keep that up, because we have seen in this season that you switch off for 1 second and you get punished. I think the phrase used by Ross Jenkins was fine margins, and he was really reiterating that to his team after Boreham Wood, that if you switch off for a second you will concede. But it's the same for Solihull, because it's a really, really tight game. I think I agree with that fan. If you came here as a neutral, not knowing who's where, you would not know who's at the bottom and who's trying to get in the playoffs.
And checking my notes from that first half, Andy, City have restricted Solihull, albeit they've had some shots. They've restricted Solihull to shots from outside the area, whereas City probably, arguably, created the best chance of them all with Zach McEachran's pass to Reece Fleet, which forced a good save from Nick Hayes.
Yeah, definitely. Usually it's the other way around, isn't it? Like, City are creating the bulk of chances, but they're not quite clear cut, and then the opposition kind of carve them open with one shot and probably score just through that lapse of concentration. So it was a really good performance, especially from the team that haven't really got going in the first half of late in these games. They need another one, though, because just a first half performance isn't enough in this.
Yep, they need to build on that first half performance. No changes from either side, as expected. As we're underway in the second half, I'll hand you over to Andy.
Yeah, back underway at the Royal Charging Stadium. So Oxford City 0, Solihull Moors 0 in the National League. A very big game and could have big implications at both ends of the table in both the playoff and relegation race or battle, or however you want to phrase it. But it has been a very evenly contested game so far. Oxford City in their familiar home kits of hoops shirts, blue and white hoops, blue shorts and blue socks. This time attacking from right to left towards the bar area of the stadium, and Solihull Moors in all yellow with a little bit of navy blue trim going the opposite direction from left to right towards the travelling contingent of Solihull Moors fans that have made the journey down from Birmingham, and they'll have an opportunity to see their team attack, as here is Warburton, ball into Benton, cross into the area, is cut out, and eventually Jamie Osborne can't get a shot away because Ollie Sanderson has defended well. Beck controls it well on the edge of the area. Still City struggling to get the ball away, but they're keeping Solihull at arm's length. They're moving the ball around well here, though, on the edge of the area. Another chance for Josh Kelly. That shot took a deflection and bounces behind for the first corner of the second half. And already I'm looking at Jamie Osborne put two hands in the air. Perhaps we could see one from the training ground here. Those travelling supporters, like I said, now behind the goal. Big chance here for Solihull. Just a few moments into the second half. Osborne, both hands in the air again. Right-footed in swinger to the back post. Headed away and eventually hooked clear. And Mitchell Roberts will blast the ball down into the opposition half. But only as far as Cade Craig, who will send it all the way back. Ball looking for Beck. Burley gets up early and puts Beck off balance, and eventually it goes out for a City goal kick, but again very well defended.
Yep, absolutely. I think Ross Jenkins would have been pretty content with what he's seen in the first half. What do you think? We've always said that he's not whatever, even if they've played poorly, to throw the teacups, but I think he'd have probably said at half-time more of the same in the second half.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few things that he'd want to pick up upon, of course. However, he is a perfectionist. He always wants things to, even when Oxford City have won 5-0 before, I've heard him in his post-match interview say it should have been more, and he's been absolutely right. Here's Ollie Sanderson back towards goal, bundled over by Kyle Morrison. Free kick to City. Warburton's just standing in the way of Reece Fleet, stopping him from taking the short one. In the end, Fleet goes back. Carroll, clip ball forward, looking for Parker, but it's easily cut out by Morrison. McEachran picks up on the loose ball. Now to Mitchell Roberts, the former Solihull man. Bounces the ball off McEachran to Kirby. The light is slowly starting to ebb away from this stadium. The floodlights on. But it's getting really dark here. It's getting more of that wintry feel that has been eluding us for the first half. Here's Coyle. City moving the ball well, but being forced back by the Moors. Carroll over to Roberts, turns out with his left foot, finds Parker, bounced it back. City not getting ball with it. McEachran moves forward, marauds forward even, finds Parker, who's drifted out to the left, moving it again. Into the midfield now with Fleet, gets the ball out of his feet. To Sanderson. Solihull defending well here, keeping their shape. Roberts cuts back onto his left foot, finds Kirby around 30 yards out from goal, bounces a pass off McEachran, a 1-2, turns into a 3-4. McEachran keeps running forward with the ball. A few passes now put together from City. They have to keep going back to try and find an option, but they are keeping good control and taking good care of this football. Burley back to Carroll again. They'll continue to move it from right to left. Carroll, long ball forward now, looking for Tafari Moore. He's made his move. Moore keeps it in on the byline. Does really well, actually, Tafari Moore. Finds Kirby on the outside of the area, and Kirby sends a shot towards goal over the crossbar. Didn't trouble Nick Hayes in the end, but that was the move of the match. Pass move, pass move, pass move by Oxford City. They moved Solihull's defenders all over the show. Eventually, Nia Kirby thought he could have a crack at goal. Came close, not close enough, but really impressive stuff there from Oxford City. Here's Warburton. Beck, good set by Beck, and now suddenly Josh Kelly's in. Kelly, good touch away from Burley, but Burley does really well to backtrack.
That is terrific defending, because he's not only prevented the shot, he's actually won the goal kick. That is terrific defending.
I was just about to say he got a leg in it to make it a Solihull Moors corner, but it was exceptional from Andre Burley to put Josh Kelly off, because for a moment he was bearing down on goal and looked as though he was going to give the visitors the lead. That's how quickly this game could change. We just saw like a 20 pass move from Oxford City come close, and then 1, 2, 3 passes from Solihull Moors and they were in. This is how tight this game is. Here's Cade Craig into the midfield and Mafata. McEachran steals the ball off Craig's feet. Burley, Carroll under pressure, so gets it out of his feet first time. Clark, again, first time out of his feet, but it's a sloppy ball and Fleet will take control of it. City have come flying out the blocks here in these first 5 minutes. Parker will bring the ball forward with him. Spots the run of Tafari Moore, just a little bit too much power on that poke pass through the Solihull Moors back line. Goes out for a Solihull goal kick. The first half was entertaining. Second half started in even better fashion. Really fluid football from both teams, and both teams look like they're about to take it to the next level, and perhaps are about to see the first goal of this game very soon if it continues in this vein.
In National League North, full-time whistle has blown at St James's Park. Brackley 0, Scarborough Athletic 1, so they go into the Christmas derby games against Banbury off the back of a defeat. Banbury level.
Oh, there's a chance here, and it's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. What a fantastic save that is from Jack Bycroft. A ball over the top again, and again it was Josh Kelly to run in one-on-one with Jack Bycroft. The keeper did everything right, came rushing off his line, made himself big, and almost a Peter Schmeichel starfish, if you like, to come out of his goal, make himself big and get a foot on that shot, because once again Josh Kelly was bearing down on goal. It was very nearly 1-0 to Solihull Moors. And since I've been just describing that chance, City have gone down the other end, and now they have a corner. Real end-to-end stuff in this game.
Terrific save, that really was. As you say, made himself big and made it impossible for Kelly to get past him, and terrific goalkeeping there.
It was. Corner kick taken from City, taken short. Coyle sets it to McEachran. Screams of get out by the Solihull Moors defence. Here's Tafari Moore. Canis Carroll, who's playing almost like a right winger where he's in possession at the moment. He's drifted all the way out wide. Fleet now looking for an option, has one in Coyle. City moving the ball really well again. Here's McEachran. Cuts into the centre of the field, finds a little bit of space to run into, continues, flicks the ball to Sanderson. 1-2, McEachran on the edge of the box. Brilliant block from the shot. Solihull Moors defending really well now. Here's Tafari Moore, left-footed cross towards the back post, looking for Parker, keeps it alive. Header across goal, cleared only as far as Mitchell Roberts. This is really impressive stuff from Oxford City. They're playing really well, moving the ball better than I've seen all season. Sanderson. Nia Kirby now, over to the right. McEachran is starting to get on the ball more. He's starting to have a bit more freedom, a bit more confidence to come forward and attack this Solihull Moors defence. Moore's having his shirt pulled. Kelly nicks it off him. Now Solihull Moors can counter again. McEachran brings Kelly down. Free kick right on the halfway line. And that is the end of that little spell of dominance that Oxford City had. And Zach McEachran's going to go into the book for that foul.
In League One, Northampton Town have taken the lead against Oxford United. Kieran Bowie with the goal on 50 minutes. That game is on 95.2 FM, Freeview Channel 722, and on digital here at the Raw Charging Stadium. Oxford City 0, Solihull Moors 0, but a pulsating game and a pulsating start to this second half with chances at either end.
Really is, and in these opening stages, 10 minutes into the game, the referee is letting it flow a little bit more, which is helping the game, so I will say that. Only 10 minutes in, perhaps a little bit premature, but we'll see. Anyway, free kick for Solihull. Everyone up from this one. It's been taken inside their own half, on the halfway line pretty much. Osborne floats one towards Mark Beck. Wins the header, but it bounces into Coyle. Takes no chances with it, Coyle. Heads it straight back into the Solihull Moors half. And Cade Craig will send it over to the right wing. Now here's Clark. Almost an inverted fullback. Warburton on this right-hand side. Plays the ball inside to Benton, looking for an option. Benton, he's chased all the way to the right channel by Nia Kirby. Again, City cutting out that ball, defending exceptionally again. Kirby down the line looking for Sanderson. He's got two men on him, Mafata and Alex Whitmore, defending really well this time for Solihull Moors. As soon as Ollie Sanderson had the ball, had his back towards goal, had no time to turn because they were being pressed really well by those two Solihull Moors defenders. It is really, really an interesting game, isn't it? Both teams playing quite well, I would say. It's a really interesting game. It's a great advert for non-league football on a fantastic pitch with two teams that are playing some decent stuff. Here's Kirby now. City really starting to come into their stride. The fear is they need to make the most of it whilst they are on top, because the momentum of the game shifts so quickly. They need to start to take a chance if it comes to them. Here's Reece Fleet inside the centre circle. Finds Roberts on the left. Comes forward Roberts, Moore's in there with support, turns his man, keeps coming forward. Tafari Moore playing well, and that's a foul. I think that's a soft one if I'm quite honest. Matty Warburton says well done to, I think it might be Josh Kelly who's won the foul. And it's a free kick and an opportunity for Solihull to clear their lines, because as I've said before, Kieran, they are coming forward really well, City. They're playing as a team now. They're playing brave passes. They're not just knocking the ball around for the sake of it. They're trying to spot that gap, and when they do, they're playing it through those pinpoint areas and trying to play through Andy Wing's men. But now it's their turn to be resolute. Beck wings a flick on from the resulting free kick into the hands of Jack Bycroft, who made that stunning save just a few minutes ago, the Southampton loanee. Southampton have sent a scout to look at him to see how he's progressing this season, perhaps wanting to see if he has the capabilities to go further up the football pyramid. Throw in taken quickly by Solihull. Here's Benton. Warburton helps it on to Josh Kelly eventually away. Sanderson, ball down the left. Tafari Moore is a real thorn in Solihull's side at the moment. He's got Ollie Sanderson going forward in front of him. Finds McEachran in the centre of the field, looking for an option on the edge of the area. Parker with his back towards goal. Finds McEachran! And Oxford City take the lead at the Roar Charging Stadium. And in emphatic fashion, what a fantastic strike from Zach McEachran. And in all honesty, it was coming. They've been exceptional at the start of this second half. Pass. They find McEachran on the edge of the area, and he unleashes a pile driver into the back of the net, and Oxford City take a very much deserved lead. It's Oxford City 1, Solihull Moors 0.
Terrific goal, terrific movement as well. Tafari Moore showing a burst of pace to sort of set that attack up, really, finding Josh Parker. I have to say, I've been really impressed with Tafari Moore today. Probably one of the better performances in an Oxford City shirt, but terrific vision, finding Josh Parker. Parker then finding McEachran, and that was an unstoppable shot from the City man, and Oxford City lead by 1-0. And you can't say that they haven't deserved something to score in this game. They have been really good today.
Well, you mentioned Tafari Moore. The other man that's been asking questions is Zach McEachran. He deserved that goal, and he took his goal in some style as well. And just like the reverse fixture up at Damson Park, it's Oxford City who take the lead in this fixture, and now we will see what Solihull's playoff credentials are made of. Are we going to see them come straight back into this game, just like Woking did a few weeks ago, to try and pull City back? And there's a need for calm heads now for City. Cross floated into the box, looking for Beck at the back post, but Josh Parker has done well to head it away. Cross into the area again, goes all the way to the other far post now. Just about kept in. Appeals for handball. The Solihull players are straight towards the referee. He's given a corner, but they thought that should have been a penalty for handball. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, hard to tell. Definitely hard to tell. Tafari Moore had his back to goal. I'm assuming the referee assumed it's come off the chest, really, but big appeal, wasn't it, for a handball against Tafari Moore?
It was. Massive appeal. Corner, right-footed in-swinger into the back post, and it's right and highest, I think, by Beck.
Yeah.
Who's just flicked his head wide of Jack Bycroft's post. He looks at his hands. He's got his head in his hands there. It was a really big opportunity, and he knows it. Probably should have done better, and that's why there's a need for calm heads here.
Yeah, this next 5 minutes, Andy, will I think are absolutely crucial. City need to just hold firm here, because what they don't want to do is what happened last week at Boreham Wood: score a goal, then concede within 40-50 seconds, which they very nearly did there.
Absolutely, it can happen against you as much as it can happen for you. But here comes City again. They're looking for a second goal in this game, but that's fantastic defending from the midfielder Gus Mafuta. But City have got the wind in their sails, but so have Solihull Moors now. Warburton cuts inside, plays a 1-2 with Beck, plays the ball over to the left hand side where they'll come forward again. Here's Kelly, ball into the box, but Fleet's there first, goes towards the ball. Big appeals for a penalty from Solihull, but he won the ball fair and square. I don't think the Solihull Moors fans would have seen that angle from behind the goal, to be fair to them. They probably just saw their player go down, but that was a fantastic tackle from Reece Fleet, who got there in the nick of time.
One of those rare occasions, Andy, where we were probably better placed than anybody in the ground. We could see that was a fantastically timed tackle, won the ball, and the Solihull fans are shouting for a penalty, but that's a correct decision this time from the referee.
It was indeed, and he's let the game flow. He's been a lot better in this second half, to be fair. But what a City made of. They've got a team that are going for the playoffs. Have been so impressive under Andy Wing, who will be very much in the thick of the playoff race.
I'll tell you one thing I will say. I think Solihull are just starting to show just little signs of frustration here, because they've lost, I think, 4 league games in a row, and they're now 1-0 down against a side in the bottom 4, and there's just little signs of a little bit of frustration coming into their game, isn't it? That was a bit of a needless foul there, right in the middle of the park. No need to make the challenge, and the referee's given a free kick right under his nose. But yeah, Andy Wings probably needs to get his players back on their game, because at the moment they're just showing a little frustration signs at the minute.
Yeah, it was, but what are they made of? What was City made of? We'll learn a lot about the two teams over these next few minutes. McEachran coming forward again, can't quite control the ball there, and Mafuta will bring the ball out for Matty Warburton. Those two have probably been two of Solihull's better players in this game. Ball looking forward and looking for Beck, and Mitchell Roberts had a little bit more time than I thought he did there. Slices the ball into the air, and so did Tafari Moore, and the ball bounces off him and out for a rather sloppy Solihull Moors throw in. Perhaps we're starting to see a little bit of let's say jitters coming into this game, and as we've just crept over the hour mark here, there is a lot of time left in this game. I think it's time for calm heads, because we are in for a really blockbuster finish if we continue in this vein. Clark looking for Beck, wins the header, plays it back onto the edge of the box. Solihull Moors looking for an option. Jamie Osborne plays the ball out to the left hand side, looking for Cade Craig, but he's not kept that in.
Carroll gone down
and
again.
Carroll, he has gone down, he's holding his head. Referee stopped the
He's been in the wars today,
stopped the game. And Matty Warburton's just stood over him, I think, telling him to get up in no uncertain terms. Referee has to stop the game, to be fair to him. I think it happened off the ball.
Yeah.
I didn't quite see what happened. I'm not sure if Cade Craig did keep that ball in over on that far left-hand side. That remains to be seen.
I think the referee stopped it before the ball went out. We'll soon find out. But Andy, what a terrific game this has been. This has been a real advert for the National League, hasn't it?
It really has, and it's been coming from Oxford City as well. Two good teams have been trying to work each other out, but City have grown into this game. They could have had one just a few moments before when Nia Kirby sent an effort over the crossbar after 20, 30 or so passes, and they do it again with only a few less. And
it was a drop ball, and I think Solihull feel a bit hard done by that, because they were in the attack there and the referee dropped the ball to a City player.
Again, brilliant work from Tafari Moore to keep control of the ball. Eventually that attack breaks down though for Oxford City, and Nick Hayes, the goalkeeper, will blast it up towards Mark Beck, but he's under pressure from Tafari Moore to do so. There's a chance here though for Matty Warburton, goes in on the edge of the area. This is the chance, and Solihull Moors do equalise, and just in under the 65th minute they are level in this game. It's Matty Warburton who evades detection inside the box to run in on Jack Bycroft's goal. The City goalkeeper made a fantastic save just a few moments before in the game. He could do nothing about that. Fantastic finish from Matty Warburton, and all of a sudden it's game on at the Raw Charging Stadium once more. It's Oxford City 1, Solihull Moors 1.
Yeah, it has been end-to-end, Andy, throughout this game, so you wouldn't say that it's necessarily against the run of play. City have had a decent first half of this second half, but there's still plenty of time, and City have proved that they're in this game and they're equal to Solihull.
They are. Here's Tafari Moore. They don't want to let that get them down. It's been a really good game. Solihull Moors have come flying out the trap since going behind again. I think both goals have really woken each other up, and now we're in for a real blockbuster finish. 1-1. This is anyone's game.
In League One, Cameron Brannigan has equalised for Oxford United from the penalty spot. Oxford United then 1-1 at Sixfields. That's on BBC Radio Oxford on 95.2 on digital and on Freeview channel 722. Here at the Raw Charging Stadium, Oxford City 1, Solihull Moors 1 in a pulsating National League game.
Really is. That's the word, isn't it? As Mitchell Roberts comes forward with the ball. Tafari Moore keeps impressing down that left-hand side. Was a little bit unlucky not to create a chance with a misplaced touch just a few moments before. And again, I'll reiterate, in a new vein now, what are these two teams made of? Oxford City going ahead, playing well, set back for them. The heads haven't gone down. Sanderson works his way to the byline, tries to find Parker, drops to the edge of the area to Fleet, takes a touch, looking for an option. Has Kirby and McEachran. McEachran to Fleet, chested down, and that's a big chance for the City skipper, who blazes a left-footed volley over the crossbar. Well, that's a big chance. He gets himself up, Reece Fleet, after his head in his hands. Another brilliant worked move by Oxford City there to carve Solihull Moors open. So close, Kieran.
I thought that was going to be hitting the back of the net, Andy, to be honest. It was a bit of an angle, wasn't it? But he chested it down so well, and then probably on his wrong foot, left foot volley. But I honestly thought we were going to see the net bulge him.
Exactly. Well, whatever happens in this game, perhaps those supporters and fans of National League football who were writing Oxford City off after that long run with a few disappointing results. Perhaps they're looking at this. If you were here today, you'd be looking at this performance and thinking, well, perhaps there's a lot more that this Oxford City team can offer in the second half of the season. But here comes Solihull Moors. They're looking for a winner themselves. They need to get in the playoffs, and they are really showing that they want that win. They are really coming forward in their droves. Here's Jamie Osborne, edge of the box again, works his way out to the left, cuts back on himself, plays the ball onto the edge, looking for an option on the edge of the box, and does find one, and that's a good save from Jack Bycroft, who parries away John Benton's effort. It's still alive though. Benton, right-footed cross in, looking for Beck, and it's a push in the back. The referee's seen it, to be fair to him, and it's a free kick for Oxford City, and a chance to just alleviate the pressure. And Andy Wing is going to go to his bench. He's making the first change of this game. It's going to be Gus Mafuta to come off, a defensive-minded midfielder, I think is fair to say. Coming on, Callum Maycock, who's a little bit more balanced, formerly of Macclesfield Town, came through Coventry City's academy, has played in the league. He was almost an ever-present in the Solihull Moors team until recently. When we looked at the team sheet today, I was quite surprised not to see him starting, given his pedigree in the EFL and in the National League with Solihull. Can he make the difference for Andy Wing's men? He's gone to his bench first to try and find a winner in this game. Beck flicks the ball up, it's hit his arm, the referee said so anyway. Free kick to Oxford City, and that was good. It was a good reason so as well, because Josh Kelly, once again, was running in behind that back line and in on goal with Jack Bycroft, who's made some fantastic saves in this game, to be fair to him, the Oxford City goalkeeper.
He's made two real key saves, hasn't he? That one there from Benton, and then the one just a little bit earlier on when he made himself so big to deny Josh Kelly. But City now have a chance to mount another attack of their own down in the corner.
Indeed, throw-in, Lewis Coyle to take it. He's looking for options, has Nia Kirby, takes a touch, he's under pressure, has to go back to Andre Burley. There's a real bit of atmosphere building around the Raw Charging Stadium. Those travelling Solihull Moors fans starting to get behind their team. They're starting to chant, they're trying to back their players. There's going to be another change. I'm not quite sure for what bench so far. It's going to be an Oxford City change. Alfie Potter getting ready to come on. Here's McEachran, ball behind the back line. I think he was wanting Josh Parker to make the run behind the Solihull back line. The run didn't materialise though, and it bounced into the hands of the goalkeeper Nick Hayes. But that's a sloppy ball from Solihull Moors, and it goes out for a City throw in. And I have to say, Kieran, despite a few lapses in concentration, as Ollie Sanderson is the man to be replaced by Alfie Potter, Oxford City haven't let that goal affect them as much as it has done in previous weeks. They are really trying to get something out of this game. They're not here for a point. They think this game can be won this afternoon.
Well, I think they need to think that. They need to think positively. They went in front, deservedly so, and if they can get a victory against Solihull Moors, then clearly that's a fantastic result. The Solihull fans making a terrific atmosphere. I even think I can hear a vuvuzela in the crowd somewhere. Perhaps we're back in the South African World Cup. But yeah, 1-1, all to play for, 20 minutes to go plus stoppages. It's been a terrific game of football. Probably one of the best games of football that we've witnessed this season, Andy.
There's been some good performances from Oxford City so far this season, one of them being the game at Solihull Moors. But the manner of this performance, I'll say as well, coming off the back of a few frustrating games, coming off the back of that Boreham Wood defeat where City were a lot better but were beaten, it can be demoralising. It's been anything but today. They really need to dig deep though to get something this afternoon, because Solihull Moors keep coming forward.
Yeah, they do, and we've got 20 minutes to go, and it's anybody's guess what the final score of this game is going to be. There's been some impressive performances from both sides today. Alfie Potter gets his first touch of the ball since coming on, and he finds Tafari Moore on this left touchline right in front of us. Moore has had a decent game today and finds Nia Kirby, but Kirby loses out to the substitute Callum Maycock, who in turn finds Matty Warburton, who's advanced into the penalty area. Warburton with a shot at goal. The goalkeeper diving away, didn't get a touch to it, it's hit the side netting, but that was good vision from Callum Maycock to set Warburton away down the right hand side. I think I think Jack Bycroft had that covered, but it's hit the side netting, and City will get the game underway again with Canis Carroll.
Yeah, I think there was a few Solihull Moors fans behind that goal that thought that would have gone in. I don't know if he just chose the wrong option there, Matty Warburton. Perhaps he just take an extra step forward and hit it across goal, low and hard. He tried to catch Bycroft out of the near post, didn't hit the target there. Perhaps an opportunity missed.
Oxford City 1, Solihull Moors 1, BBC Radio Oxford on the BBC Sounds and BBC Sport website and app. We've got a lot of football coming up over the next week or so. 4 non-league commentaries coming up for you over Boxing Day and New Year. Oxford City's 2 games are home and away to Dorking, away at Dorking on Boxing Day, and then back here at the Royal Charging Stadium on New Year's Day. And also the Banbury-Brackley derby games. Banbury v Brackley on Tuesday, Boxing Day, and then they travel, make the short 9-mile trip to Brackley the following weekend and the New Year. Big rivalry between those two sides. There'll be big atmosphere in there. But here at the Royal Charging Stadium, City still holding Solihull Moors, and that's possibly a bit harsh to say holding them, because they have really played pretty well today. But it's 1-1 at the moment, and the last thing you want from Oxford City with a performance like this is for them to lose this game, because based on 73 minutes of play, they don't deserve to lose this game. And let's just hope that they can, at the very least, hold on to this and go into those 2 Christmas games against an out-of-form Dorking side, full of confidence off the back of this performance. But Solihull have the ball in their possession at the moment. City have got a bit of defending to do. Advancing towards goal, Mark Beck just in the middle of the centre circle. Now there's a chance here, ball on the edge of the penalty area, and it's a free kick given right on the edge of the box.
I thought he got the ball, if I'm quite honest.
It's difficult to tell, to be honest, but it's the captain, Jamie Osborne, that goes down, falls into the box. Referee's given the free kick pretty much on the line. This is a really, really dangerous moment for Oxford City now. I think you possibly might be right, but sometimes if you're going in from sort of behind or from just to the left side of behind, the referee sometimes will give that as a free kick because it's maybe seen as a tackle from behind. But I think you're right, he's certainly got a good bit of the ball, but this is a real crucial moment now for Oxford City to defend. They've got a 5-man wall. 3 Solihull players standing over it at the moment. Jamie Osborne, the captain, is one of them, and John Benton's the other. It looks like it may be Benton.
They can score from here. It is a really good position for him.
And it's a shot into the head of Nia Kirby, and it cleared away, but only as far as the edge of the penalty area. City really scrambling here to try and get the ball away, and this time Canis Carroll hooks it away. Headed back into danger, though, to the feet of Mark Beck. Beck out to the left-hand side, but cleared out by Lewis Coyle. They took that free kick possibly a little bit quicker than they needed to, and the ball hit Nia Kirby. I don't think Nia Kirby knew an awful lot about it, but it allowed City to clear. But Solihull are having a little bit of a purple patch at the moment. City just need to ride this little storm out because it's still level at 1-1, and that was a real key moment. Now Josh Parker's on the ball. He finds the impressive Tafari Moore on this left touchline. He's got John Benton just forcing him to go back to Mitchell Roberts, and Roberts will play a square pass all the way across his defensive line to Canis Carroll on the far side. Carroll with a first time ball over the top, looking for the on-running Josh Parker. Headed away, though, by Whitmore. And City just needed to ride out that bit of a storm there, and in many ways it was probably good for City that they took that free kick quickly, where maybe they weren't quite ready, some of the Solihull players, and it allowed City just to clear their lines.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what a treat we've been watching today. You got 2 teams fighting for every ball, players giving absolutely everything for their causes and playing some really good stuff too. It's been thoroughly entertaining. 15 minutes left. Is there a winner in this?
Josh Parker has the ball now, and he threads the ball through, but ball kind of gets a little bit stuck under the feet of the City man, Reece Fleet, but he's come away with the ball, and I think that's a good bit of skill from Fleet, because initially the pass from Parker got stuck under his feet. Now there's a chance for City into the penalty area with Zach McEachran. Just wide.
Wow, what a chance. What a chance.
Move. Yeah, great move, great run into the box from McEachran, and he's fizzed that wide. That one definitely kept Nick Hayes interested there. He wasn't taking any chances as he dived away to his left, but it's just flashed from Oxford City's perspective the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, it was probably in that area where he scored that goal, so he's quite clearly got previous from scoring from that range. Not quite there to be. But again, when City come forward, especially Reece Fleet as well, who I've got to say he's attacking himself really, really well. They're coming forward and they are causing so many problems of this Solihull Moors defence. They've got to keep it up.
They've got the wind in their sails today, Oxford City, that's for sure. This is easily the best performance that we've seen probably since the Ebbsfleet victory, where they dominated that game. And they've just proved that they are capable of mixing it and playing at this level, because they're up against a decent Solihull side and they're really giving them a fantastic contest. But Solihull on the attack, Mark Beck, a huge 6'7" striker in the centre circle. Actually, for somebody so tall, he's pretty skillful with his feet as well, actually. He does pick out a good pass or two, does Mark Beck, but he is clearly the target man normally, but that's going to go through to the goalkeeper. But no, Mark Beck, case in point, yes, he's a target man and you look for the balls into the box, but on the deck, he's actually not the least skillful player.
No, he's good. He's sometimes, what's that old phrase? He's got good feet for a big man. Probably very apt. City keep coming forward with it here.
They do indeed. Josh Parker over on the far side in front of the Macron stand, and it's going to be cleared up the line by Solihull, headed into the air by Mark Beck, and then Mitchell Roberts picks up the loose ball in the centre circle, and City on the attack again with Lewis Coyle and Nia Kirby. Back to Canis Carroll, who's been in the wars today. He's been whacked in the face a couple of times, and Josh Parker muscled off the ball. You don't say that very often with Josh Parker, and that was a fair challenge this time. Sometimes Parker can be hard done by, but he was just out-muscled that time by the Solihull man, and Solihull coming away with the ball again with James Clark. Benton on this right touchline, but he opts to go back inside to Whitmore. Benton's made an early run, and Clark brings the ball over the halfway line from the substitute Callum Maycock, and then a ball in from Kelly, control ball on his chest, good effort, hit the bar, and it's gone off, it's deflected actually off Canis Carroll. Really good effort from Kelly on the edge of the box, hit the Canis Carroll's foot, and it's deflected over the bar. Well, it hit the bar, it hit the top of the bar and went over for a corner to Solihull Moors.
Wicked deflection, could have gone anywhere. It would have taken. It was hit with such ferocity. If it would have just took the slightest of nick, it would have diverted into the net, diverted onto the bar instead. It's still rattling. I think it hit it that hard.
Corner then to Solihull. City have more defending to do. It's 1-1 at the moment. 10 minutes to go, or just over, plus stoppage time, probably 15 in total. Corner from the far side. It's going to be an in-swinging corner. In it comes. Jack Boycroft punches there, and maybe could have caught that, to be honest. He had lots of time and space to catch that, but he opted for the punch, and it means that Solihull stay in possession. But now it's going to go out of play for a throw on the far side. I think that was possibly the wrong call there from Boycroft, because he had a bit of time there to come and catch that one.
Yeah, I think he must have been surprised by the amount of space he had, because he could have definitely caught that. Jamie Osborne shepherding that out for a throw in, because he knows that he can launch it long.
Going to be a long throw, which is almost as good as a corner for Solihull. Into the box it goes. Mark Beck wins his umpteenth header of the day against Canis Carroll. It's not very often you say Canis Carroll loses out 95% of the time, but he's defending against Mark Beck, who just wins everything in the air.
He's defending well though. I'm just looking at the bench. Perhaps we're about to see
one of the debutants,
I think it might be Levi Lemaker. I'm just trying to see the back of the shirt. I can't quite see who it is, so I can't say for sure.
We'll soon find out.
It might be Aaron Williams-Bichelle.
But before that substitution can take place, City have some defending to do, and actually Alfie Potter does pretty well there in the centre circle. Solihull player down on the deck appealing to the referee for a foul. That was Jamie Osborne, but the referee said nothing doing. That will be a foul though, and that'll be a free kick to Oxford City against Andre Burley. They get the game underway quickly, and I've been really impressed with the pace of this game today. They're not resting on their laurels, City. They want to get the game underway. They want to get onto the front foot. They want to attack. They want to put Solihull under pressure, and they're doing just that. Reece Fleet with a long ball looking for over the far side, looking for... Can't see, my eyesight's gone there, Andy.
It was Tafari Moore who held it up, and McEachran, but he just loses out on the ball.
It was Tafari Moore, sorry, yeah, I looked straight into the floodlights there and temporarily blinded myself. But now Solihull are on the attack with John Benton. Benton gets to cross into the penalty area. There's a chance here, but it's just rolled gently through to the goalkeeper, Jack Bycroft. And note to self, Andy, don't look directly into floodlights when you're trying to commentate. Like temporarily, it was like looking to the sun there for a minute, blinded myself completely.
You know what? It is really dark here. I cannot see anything across that right wing, so I don't blame you with that one. It is quite hard to see over on that.
Well, it is when you look into the lights, definitely. Anyway, Josh Parker, I know that's the case. He's on the ball now. Finds Niall Kirby in the centre part. Kirby nearly thought about having a crack from 40 yards there. He was just shaking like he wanted to shoot, but thought better of it. He's now got the ball again on the right edge of the penalty area. Back into the feet of McEachran. Back to the skipper Reece Fleet. Now Mitchell Roberts in an advanced position. Roberts looking for an option. He hasn't got one in front of him, so he goes back to his skipper Fleet. Fleet into Potter. Nice little touch from Potter, but cleared away up to Mark Beck. And now City in the centre circle. There's a handball there. Probably ball to hand, surely, but the referee's given that as a handball. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he could have moved his hand out of the way from there. It's Aaron Williams-Bichelle coming on for Zach McEachran, and McEachran has been absolutely exemplary today. He's been fantastic, very well worth of his goal, and Solihull Moors are going to make a change too.
Yeah, McEachran off, Aaron Williams-Bichelle on, and just see who the substitution is for the opposition, and it looks as though it's Matty Warburton making way, and it's going to be Jack Stevens coming on, former Banbury United man, very popular man up at the Banbury Plant Hire Community Stadium, very capable of finding a goal. He scored a spectacular overhead kick on his Solihull Moors debut last year, and it went viral. I think it was a terrific strike. So Stevens straight away on the ball. Real pocket dynamo is Jack Stevens. He'll never give up running, and really good player to have in Andy Wing's locker to come on with 10 minutes to go in the game. Oxford City still holding Solihull Moors 1-1 as the ball comes in. That's going to be an easy catch this time from Jack Bycroft. Northampton Town 1, Oxford United 1 remains the score at Six Fields. That's on 95.2 FM. Freeview channel 722, and on digital if you want to listen to the closing stages of that one with Jerome and the team up at Six Fields. Here at the Raw Charging, it's 1-1, and it's still anybody's game, to be honest. There's still a goal in this game, Andy. We've got about 10 minutes to go, I'd say, with stoppages, and there's definitely still a goal in this game. Both sides are looking for the victory. Neither side has settled for a draw here.
No, but as the game ticks on, it looks like Solihull Moors are going to be the ones that are just going to go for broke here. They're creeping up the pitch. They're asking more and more questions. City are dropping a little bit deeper, but they are defending really well. 5 minutes plus stoppages.
Warrington lead 2-1 against Banbury United. 10 minutes to go in that one. Warrington 2, Banbury United 1. And after Banbury took the lead, they look like they're on their way to a defeat ahead of Christmas. Clark here at the Royal Charging, right-footed ball in towards Beck, but cleared away to Potter. Potter, rid of an overhit pass to Fleet, who has to stretch to control the ball, and he does so pretty well in the end, actually. Tafari Moore with his back to the Oxford City goal. Good control, bit of control there from Josh Parker.
Brilliant.
Parker muscled off the ball a little bit, but holds off the challenge and finds Canis Carroll. Potter into Kirby in the centre circle. Tafari Moore on the left-hand side calling for it, but Kirby hasn't seen him, I don't think, but it's gone back to Reece Fleet in the centre circle. Back to Kirby, who's had another player who's had a decent game today, Niall Kirby. Probably one of his better games in a hoop shirt so far this season. I think you can't really say that anybody in the City side have had a poor game today. They've all really given a really good account of themselves as they look to get themselves onto the attack with 5 minutes to go. A bit of a vicious sort of ball into Potter, but he controls the ball well. Finds Mitchell Roberts finds Reece Fleet and City just playing keep ball and passing the ball around as they did so well in the first half. Carroll with the ball in towards Josh Parker. The goalkeeper Nick Hayes doesn't take any prisoners there, comes racing from his goal and plucks the ball from the air and just taking a few moments and bowls the ball out to James Clark.
Look at that from Lewis Coyle, just head down, sprinting to try and close down Clark before he can play. These City players have run through brick walls today. It's been really good stuff from them.
It really has, but they've got a bit of defending to do again. It looks as though Solihull Moors are ending this game on the front foot. That's going to come out of play and hit the stand right in front of us. If you heard that thud, and it's a throw-in right on the half, pretty much on the halfway line with Clark. And Solihull will be desperate to get the 3 points here because their playoff bid, although they are still in the playoffs, has fallen off the rails a little bit in the last few weeks. But they're on the front foot here as they look for a winner. Little dink ball over the top. City got some defending to do here, and really, and it's a chance here, and there's an opportunity, and it's going to be in. It's a great save.
Ooh.
How's that stayed out? Fantastic save from Jack Pycroft. Still not the danger clear.
Wow.
I didn't see who got the shot there, but it was cleared off the line. City still haven't cleared it. Still with Solihull. Still with another great save, and it's gone in. Oh dearie me! Some terrific saves and some terrific defending, but they didn't clear their lines. And heartbreak for Oxford City. 3 minutes to go, and Solihull Moors have somehow drilled the ball into the net, and it's Oxford City 1, Solihull Moors 2.
That is so harsh on Jack Bycroft, who has just made the save of the season. Oxford City defending on the line multiple times, but they just couldn't clear their lines to get the ball away. And Solihull Moors look like they've nicked it through Jack Stevens. A draw perhaps would have been fair, but they have just had that extra inch to knock it in the net. So harsh on Jack Bycroft himself, who has just made so many impressive saves just there. And it is heartbreak for Oxford City. It really is, because they've got a few minutes now plus stoppage time to try and find a way back into it. They deserve something from this game. They need to find a way back into it.
Well, we warned, didn't we? Jack Stevens knows his way to goal. I said he was a good person to have on the bench, and it is Jack Stevens that potentially has broken Oxford City hearts, broken their resolve. They don't deserve to be down in this one, but when you're down and out, like City are at the moment, this sort of stuff happens, and they now trail. We've only got a minute to go plus stoppage time, and the fourth official's readying the ball. We'll tell you how much stoppage time there is. I think it's going to be 4 or 5 at least. But what a body blow for Oxford City, who've played so well in this game against high-flying Solihull Moors. And Jack Stevens, the former Banbury United man, comes off the bench pretty much with his first touch. Has put Oxford City 2-1 down.
I think it's going to be 4 minutes added on. I can't quite see the
looks like it's
fourth
4
officials board yet.
And when you're down in the bottom 4 and you play so well, and it's really important to say this, Andy, City will be absolutely gutted if this results as a 2-1 defeat, but they needn't be so. They should hold their heads up high, because they've been more than a match for Solihull this afternoon.
They have been. I think they've been the better team, if I'm honest with you, Oxford City, and it looks as though it's going to be a smash and grab from Solihull. They might have even get another one here.
They might do, but Safari Moore is going to come away with the ball. Can City get themselves back level in this game, which arguably they deserve? 4 minutes is the time added on. So 4 minutes to go here at the Royal Charging Stadium.
Carroll's gone up front. It's all or nothing, isn't it, for
It's going
City?
to be win or bust, I think, or all or nothing. Safari Moore has a little battle there with the substitute Callum Maycock, but Maycock gets it back to his goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper Nick Hayes will not be in any hurry whatsoever to get the game back underway. He'll take as long as he possibly can before releasing this ball into the Oxford's night sky. And if Oxford City do go down this year, they can look back on certain moments of this season where they were in good positions and haven't quite managed to turn those good positions into wins. Boreham Wood last week, they played so well in the second half and couldn't get back into it. They led at Solihull and ended up drawing 3-3, and now City got a bit more defending to do and cleared away by Nia Kirby.
Well, the defenders are up top.
They need to throw the kitchen sink at Solihull in these last few minutes. It's going to be a free kick to Oxford City, and we're only halfway, or just over halfway through the season, and there's a long way to go. They've got 2 crucial games coming up against Dorking. Dare I say, both games must-win games for Oxford City. But as I say, they'll look back on this first half of the season at some of the moments where they could have done better. The Chesterfield game, when it was 1-1 and then Will Grigg popped up in stoppage time to grab a winner against the now runaway leaders. Now there's a chance perhaps for Josh Parker, but he's gone offside, and it's a free kick to Chesterfield. We've got about 2 minutes to go. But Andy, we look back, as I said, but I'm not sort of reviewing the whole season yet, but there have been moments this season where they've proved, City, that they can match it at this level. And they just need a bit of luck to go their way, don't they?
Yeah, they do, because they've been really good today, but they have to be like this every week to survive in the National League. This is what City have got in the locker, but it's so harsh. It is those fine margins in the game that Ross Jenkins has picked up on, and they've got to work on, because all those last gasp blocks that we just saw then. It's just that one shot that needs to go in. It is those extremely fine margins, but they have got what it takes to stay up. We've got to remember, City have to be better than the bottom 4 teams to survive. Based on this performance, they are. They just need the results to go their way. No. It's looking, though, after this Boreham Wood game and this game here today against Solihull Moors, they'll have a lot to go into Dorking. 2 massive games, but they've still got just over a minute. Can they salvage something?
They have got a minute left, but the ball is currently in possession of Solihull, and we're going the wrong way if City are going to get anything out of this game. Mark Beck, he's been a real nuisance and a real handful today for Oxford City, although they've kept him pretty quiet. And maybe it was a little bit of a prophecy from myself, Andy, when I mentioned Jack Stevens knows his way to goal, because that was probably his first or second touch to score the goal and deflate those Oxford City supporters. We're into the last minute of the 4 added on. Everybody's going forward now for this free kick which Jack Bycroft takes. Canis Carroll is up there. He gets a little flick on, but it's going to be hook clear. Josh Parker tries to win the ball back. It's back in possession with City again, with Andre Burley. He tries to play the ball through to penalty area, but again, Solihull pick up the loose ball. Canis Carroll, though. Canis Carroll has the chance here. Blocked, and Safari Moore tries to win the ball back, but it's back with Mitchell Roberts. Everybody bar Burley and Roberts are on the edge of the penalty area, in towards Josh Parker, but that's going to be claimed comfortably by Nick Hayes, and Josh Parker cuts a bit of a forlorn figure, because I think he knows that is going to be time. And I think as soon as this ball enters the night sky, the referee is going to blow the final whistle, and indeed he does. And Oxford City go into the Christmas period off the back of another defeat. Oxford City 1, Solihull Moors 2. The scoreline, though, does not tell the whole story. Oxford City have more than matched their high-flying opponents this afternoon, but unfortunately, when you're down the bottom, it goes against you more often than it does, and Oxford City have lost this one by 2-1. And City will now need to go into 2 crucial games over Dorking Wanderers on Boxing Day and New Year's Day, and they are must-win games, because they're going to go into Christmas in the bottom 3. And it's such a shame, because City really played their hearts out today, and Ross Jenkins cannot be disappointed with what he's seen today. He really can't, because they deserved at least a point out of this game, Andy, and they need to keep their heads up and go into those 2 games over Christmas with renewed confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Solihull players, and they've got a last gasp winner, so they have to celebrate it as such, but that just shows how far Oxford City have come. They've had to work so hard for that victory, and they're celebrating it like it's got them into the playoffs on the final day. I'm not going to be the celebration police, I would be too if I scored a last minute winner, but it just shows that Oxford City have given one of the league's better teams a real run for their money today. They've got a lot of positives to take into their next game. It was impressive from City. They just need to it's those fine margins that we talk about. They need to sharpen up just that tiny bit more at the back. Lots and lots of positives to take into this next game against Dorking on Boxing Day. They are not out of it at all yet, Oxford City. That has shown they have what it takes to bring it to the better boys in the league table and go to the end. It's not all doom and gloom. Let's be positive with that performance. Let's start to flip. Let's take the positives into Dorking. It was so unlucky, but let's, after an hour after this game, when that heartbreak and that disappointment has evaporated, there are real positives to take and going into Boxing Day.
We'll take you back to Sixfields as soon as the final whistle blows there. Northampton Town 1, Oxford United 1. But